Hey there, I am Daniel Falk and I will be presenting how to use Pear Deck today. It is a really great tool to make a more interactive um, classroom experience from your presentations. It primarily works with Google Slides. On their main webpage, you can find it by going to peardeck.com or just Googling Pear Deck, and your students will have to do that as well in order to join it. As an example, they'll be joining it like a Kahoot, where they'll have a join code and it will allow them to be more interactive with what you're doing in class. But once you get in, this is what it will look like and you sign up. You'll have the content orchard, which I think is a great place to get ideas. They also will have your session history from any sessions you've run, so you can go back and see students' progress and check how they did, maybe even grade their work if you're feeling so inclined. And then you can go to the create lesson option, which this will open up a Google Slides for you that will be available. While this is loading, just to cover some of the logistics, it is a website. So you will need internet in order to access it, but it is available to everyone. The big thing, though, is that you will need one-to-one resources with your students. So they will need to be able to have technology in order to interact with it actively. But once you have it open, the main thing is getting the extension added to your Google Slides. So on this, it's a little out of date. It says add-ons. That has now been changed to extensions. But if you click that, Pear Deck will be added to this. You can simply find it by going to add-ons and hit get add-ons and then search it. And then once it's there, you can add it. So how this works is you can open your Pear Deck add-ons, and over here on the right-hand side of your screen, there it is, it'll pop up, and you can ask questions, put in choice things, you can add text, you can put in numbers, you can add a website the students to go to, you can make them draw a picture to see their interaction, or you can do draggables. They even have a template library, which is super helpful with different BCA bell ringers you can put in that are already made, which I think is awesome. They give you a 30-day free trial to access these things, but the making your own is free. So that's something to always kind of keep in mind. But one of the things you can do is you can add a drawing assignment to the slide where let's say you have words on it, if you're an English teacher, and you can have them actually circle where the grammar mistake is, and you can then put it up on the classroom projector and show all the just different students' work on that. Because whenever you click to add a slide, it will add to student device and to your classroom projector. It'll show you what that's going to look like. And that's really, really cool. One of the things I think I could use the draw tool for is a BCA activity of drawing an event that was described in a reading or something. The other option you could do, let's say you did notes one day while you were in class, and these are just some basic notes that I quickly mocked up. You could do a little bit of interactivity with dots in a draggable and drag the dot to the bullet point you think was most impactful on Kennedy. Make sure the kids are paying attention and that they're enjoying it, or that they know what's going on at least. Same thing with the LBJ one here. I have these two electoral college maps, and I added a real quick multiple choice question that students can interact with, and we can see whether or not they're paying attention or something along those lines. The other option that I was thinking of is how useful this could be for students who are absent. So while I'm thinking about that, let's go ahead and show you how to start a lesson. You can either start it here by clicking Start Lesson, or when you go to your Launchpad, you can hit Open Existing File and do it that way. But I find it easier just to be on the slides and hit Start Lesson. Now you have two options. You can do student paste, where you just post a link students can get to, and then they can mess with the Pear Deck and read the slides on their own, which the idea that I had for this is if students are absent, you could put in a series of multiple choice questions or activities that you expect them to do while they're at home to ensure that they've actually read the slides and that they know the content and are caught up. And I think that could be a really great way to kind of get students back up and to track on class. The other one is instructor paste, where you kind of do it as a class and you go through and they do the interactivity with you in real time. When you click this, what will happen is it will open your Pear Deck launcher, and you give it permissions and all of these things, and you hit continue and all this. And then it will launch your presentation in Pear Deck and load it. And it gives you a code similar to something like Kahoot. And then it tells you how many students are there. You can give them the direct link. And then there's a dashboard you can open too. But then it's just the same as a normal PowerPoint. And you can click and go through it as per normal, like you would anyway. And then when you get to something like the draggable, your students will be there and you can click show responses. And right now, since I don't have any students, it's going to be like waiting for responses. But as students start to drag and drop that dot, it'll start to appear with what they're answering, and it will be a really great way to kind of share those things. You can also lock screens and add new prompts and things and add notes as students are working through it, which I think is a really great idea. But that is basically how Pear Deck works. I think it has a lot of potential of how it could just keep growing and get cooler and more innovative and new ideas. As far as Bloom's taxonomy goes, I think that this kind of process has a great way of kind of checking for application and understanding. I would say it's still kind of in the beginning though, because these are going to be mostly presentations. So it's going to be that kind of making sure they can identify important information. As far as the SAMR model goes, I would say this is probably just a modification of a standard technology, and kind of a way of just kind of reinventing how to get more interactivity and total participation out of your class. Other than that, that's Pear Deck, and I hope you enjoyed the video.